All right, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It's me again, Fitz, the acupuncturist, the acupuncture physician. Now, I'm going to react to Professor Dave, talking about this guy, about trans people. Okay, Professor Dave is a huge YouTuber, very knowledgeable, obviously in science, and breaks things down excellently. And also, he's hilarious because he's very blunt with his statements, and he loves fact checking people. Okay, so this topic is on trans people, trans people, and let's get started. Right? He's talking about Warren Smith.
Hey everyone, in March I put out a video outlining some things I would have said on a Piers Morgan panel I was asked to participate in. It was the third video I've made regarding trans issues, and just like the other two, it pissed off a lot of people. And by people, I mean transphobes. One person who didn't like it is a guy named Warren Smith. He sucks a lot, so let's talk about him.
Now, I never heard of this Warren Smith guy. I don't know who he is, to be honest, but I guess let's let Professor Dave explain who this guy is.
Looking at the output of his channel, it's a complete dumpster fire that seems to serve as a perpetual audition for a job at the Daily Wire. If I were to describe him in a nutshell, I would go with dollar store Jordan Peterson. The
Now that's funny. That is funny.
name of the channel is already bad enough. Secret Scholar Society, you guys. Shh. It's a secret. Don't tell those woke libtards about all the super awesome truth over here, or they'll get triggered. Taking a look at the content, we find mindless defenses of revolting Zionists like Douglas Murray and Bill Maher, brethren in bullshit like Charlie Kirk, Michael Knowles, and Ben Shapiro.
Okay, so just by looking at this few minutes of video, it seemed like Warren Smith is one of those political nut jobs who just everything with him is political, and he follows bulletin points that the right always has to say. And it's sad that some of these it's sad that some of these important health issues or issues in general comes down to politics. It's just sad, man.
Whining about Marxism, DEI, those elite professors. He's essentially a conservative propaganda greatest hits jukebox. And of course, his own origin story regarding losing his teaching job that we don't need to actually get into is just a sloppily recycled version of that for every other conservative mouthpiece you've already heard of. The same one as Brett Weinstein. The same one as Jordan Peterson, which can be summarized as, I'm being canceled for my super awesome truth that the woke libtards can't handle. Please worship me, brainwashed bigots. How this formula is still working in 2025 is absolutely mystifying to me.
That's a good question, man. It is so obvious. Even put politics aside, it is so obvious how the extremes on both sides, the right and left, have this propaganda, and some people follow that. All right. Notice I said on both sides. It's crazy, man.
Anyway, the video he did on me is called Professor Tries to Debunk Matt Walsh, and it backfires spectacularly. What is a woman? It's a short piece in which he tries to respond to all three of the trans videos I've done as though they're the same one, cutting between them haphazardly and with zero context. In the video, he essentially just does a long series of mental backflips to avoid the very clear points I'm making so that he can then pretend I'm not making any at all. Let's get started.
Professor Dave has 3.8 million followers on YouTube. Many claim that this is the individual who debunked Matt Walsh in What is a Woman?
People who don't know, you got into this a tiff or an argument, so to speak, online with Matt Walsh.
It went viral. Matt Walsh responded.
It contains a formidable argument against my position on gender ideology. One person, in fact, says that Professor Dave debunks my movie, What is a Woman?
Professor Dave responded to that.
It was insane. It was insane, the things he was saying. And I want to expose the script to people like that.
So I'm going to approach this as a blank slate and listen to what he has to say. And I'm really trying to follow along here.
As you will soon see, he goes as far out of his way as possible to ignore everything I say, on top of framing everything dishonestly as he...
Humans, I've always said this, as a whole, humans are not the smartest animals on earth. Individually, there's some smart people, you know what I'm saying? But as a whole, the human race is just not that intelligent because there's a large portion of the human race that just believes in believes in misinformation, and in some cases disinformation. You know, for instance, some people still think the Earth is flat.
He's already done here in this introduction. I made a video about trans people. In it, I mentioned Matt Walsh and a few other people in passing because most of the disinformation I was addressing stems from people like them, in which they instruct their followers to whine about number of genders and men having babies and other things that only the most willfully ignorant, intellectually dishonest losers bring up. Matt's response was also profoundly dishonest, as it ignored all the points he would begrudgingly have to agree with so that he could frame my video as a direct response to his dumb movie, which it obviously wasn't. Warren maintains that framing because it's convenient to him as he tries to validate this ridiculous martyr narrative that these frauds espouse.
His argument is that gender identity is grounded in biology, which is interesting. Let's see what he does with that. He makes it clear, though, that we do not fully comprehend it.
And researchers are still working to understand the biological basis of gender identity.
I mean, what is so hard? What is so hard for this guy, whatever his name is, Warren Smith, to see? I mean, at the end of the day, it does come down to biology, you know? And facts don't care about your feelings, bro. You know? Professor Dave is correct.
Identity.
Tomorrow, if I decide I'm a woman, is that grounded in biology?
Right off the bat, he's fixating on a singular graphic from my first video because it was less precise than I would have liked it to be. Rather than neurochemistry, I should have more strongly stressed the concept of neuroanatomy. So not just brain chemistry, but brain structure. This is what determines gender identity, something which I made much more clear in the 2 subsequent videos on this topic. That will put the second point in context here. When he asks if he can just decide to be a woman, this is a profoundly stupid thing to say for 2 reasons. First, trans people don't decide to be trans. They're born that way because of the manner in which their brain develops in utero.
I mean, Professor Dave is exactly correct. But these, some people like Warren Smith and Matt Walsh and the rest of these idiots, either they're dumb or they're plain dumb. In some cases, it's both. But again, either they're dumb or they're plain dumb. That's the best way I can express what's going on with these guys, man.
Second, he is already conflating gender identity and sex, even after specifically flashing a graphic where I differentiate between the two. Transphobes whine about trans women deciding to be women and how they aren't really women because they're talking about sex, not gender identity. As I've stated a million times, trans women know that they are individuals born of male sex. These idiots and their followers are always having a never-ending argument with a position that nobody expresses.
That's because they're either dumb or plain dumb. Because I get frustrated because it's like facts are facts, but science is science. Facts don't care about your feelings, and then what bugs me about this, similar to like Candace Owens, dumb, dumb butt. They act like they're experts in everything. Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, all those idiots, they act like they're experts in everything. They act like they know more than doctors, more than archaeologists, more whatever. What? That's how shows how dumb they are. Yeah, I said they're dumb. Yeah.
Deciding to be a woman means nothing because trans women do not decide to be trans. They acknowledge it and express it. And proclaiming female gender identity does not mean that they are not of male sex. What a train wreck.
The idea is that you're claiming what is a woman is just a word. Words can mean anything we want, and we can change those meanings. Well, that is an ideology.
No, it's just the way that words work. They are literally made up sounds that mean what we decide they mean. And because language is often vague and imprecise, it has the potential to change to more accurately reflect our knowledge and understanding. Woman is a word. It means whatever we say it does, just like every other word in every language ever. The word woman has come to mean any adult of female gender identity.
Who decided that, though?
People who study this topic for a living.
Yes, people who study this topic for a living. They're called experts. But you have people like Candace Owens, this guy, which I never heard of, Peterson, Ben Shapiro, who are not experts in any type of field, act like they're experts. That's the thing that's mind-boggling. And then you have these people following these people as if they were experts. Where to do that at?
Does the general public take a vote on what physics terminology means? No, physicists decide. You just don't like having to update your understanding of these concepts. But it's moot because, as I've already said multiple times, you aren't acknowledging what I'm saying about sex and gender identity and then refusing to refer to trans women as women. You aren't agreeing that a person can be of male sex and female gender identity, thus validating the biological basis of these two phenomena, and simply disagreeing with the choice of language. You and all your Daily Wire heroes are denying the concept of transness altogether and pretending it's some kind of mental illness or psychopathy, like what was done to gay people as recently as the middle.
And it's not a mental illness, all right? It is based in scientific evidence, and we're still learning to know more about trans people and the LGBTQ community. Okay, stop saying it's a mental illness. It's not a mental illness. Okay, this is just ridiculous. So anyway, there's more to the video, but I just wanted to just go over this right quick. If you get a chance, go follow Professor Dave's channel. Awesome channel. The guy's hilarious. He's super smart, and his main mission is to debunk all these idiots on YouTube and social media spreading myths and disinformation. All right. So Professor Dave, keep doing what you do, man. All right. And I'll see y'all guys later. Okay. Peace.